Our first documentary tonight is Colin. Colin, I've known him for a long time now. I've been going to the YMCA of Grays Harbor, and I meet him there at least once a week and talk with him. He's very enthusiastic. He probably doesn't know any strangers. He's great at introducing people, and I love his faith, and his spirit is pretty cool. So here you go. This is Colin. I hope you get to know him a little bit better. Colin was born in 1996, a joyful child with a kind heart and a spark all his own. Around the age of 3, his mother, who worked in education, began to notice that Colin wasn't hitting some of the same developmental milestones as his peers. She signed Colin up for the school district's early screening process, hoping it would give her peace of mind. When the school invited her back for a meeting, she walked in hopeful, expecting to hear about her son's progress. Instead, she was told he qualified in several areas. At first, she thought this meant he was doing well, but it soon became clear he wasn't passing the test. He was being referred to special services. Suddenly, the room filled with acronyms she didn't understand. DD, IEP, OT, PT, and the conversation shifted from who Colin was to what Colin wasn't. No one paused to ask how she was feeling. No one explained what all of it meant. She walked out of the room confused, scared, and alone. She went to a fellow teacher who told her no one should leave a meeting about their child without understanding. That's when the fog began to lift. That moment lit a fire in her. She would never again sit silently in a room where decisions were being made about her child. She would ask questions. She would demand clarity. And she would stand not just for Colin, but for every parent who felt lost in a system of unfamiliar terms and impersonal decisions.
Yeah, hi, my name is Colin Strode. I am 28 years old. I like to go to the YMCA for water aerobics, and sometimes I usually go in the pool, and I usually go in the gym for pickleball. And I usually do play basketball, and I usually on Saturdays I usually spend time with my mom and dad and with my family.
Then came another blow. Around the age of 5 or 6, professionals said Colin was borderline autistic and used the outdated and deeply hurtful R word. It was like a punch to the gut. But instead of letting it define her son or break her spirit, his mom became more determined than ever. She saw beyond the labels to the child who loved music, laughter, and connection, the child who made others better simply by being himself. His mom went on to be a local parent-to-parent coordinator in Grays Harbor, who parents today are still thankful she was there for them. She took a leadership workshop that helped her develop her advocacy skills, and this journey she found herself in. Along the way, she became a voice for others, helping families find their footing in a complicated system. Today, Colin's story is not one of limits. It's one of growth, resilience, and potential. His mom's advocacy continues to carve out a path for Colin where he can be supported, respected, and celebrated for who he is. Colin has a job and shares a home with 2 roommates and receives support from a local residential provider. He works and stays active in the community. Colin is a regular at the YMCA, where he takes part in pickleball and water aerobics. You don't forget meeting Colin. He greets you with a handshake, introduces himself with pride, and carries a smile that seems to say, "I'm glad you're here." He brightens every room he enters and leaves you feeling better than when you arrived. He radiates kindness.
I'm living my great life by living with my roommates and playing video games and watching movies and TV, and I usually watch YouTube on the TV, and I usually watch the full movie of A Christmas Story, and I usually do all sorts of things, and I usually play the Shrek game in the Xbox 360.
That's cool. So you go out in the community quite a bit. Where do you go in the community where everybody sees you? Where are you at?
in the community, I usually go to Hala events to do activities. I usually play pickleball on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I do all those things sometimes, and
Where
at the YMCA in the gym.
Great.
And I usually go in the pool sometimes, and I usually shoot some baskets.
He's also an athlete and performer. Colin participates in the Special Olympics and has proudly sung the national anthem at multiple events, including the celebrity basketball game and college women's basketball games.
At the twilight's last gleaming, whose fun stripes and
His voice, strong, proud, and full of heart, reflects everything he's overcome and all he stands for. Weekends are for family, spending time with his mom and dad, siblings, and nephews, where he proudly embraces the role of best uncle ever. He goes to parties and social events hosted by the residential provider, connecting with others in similar supported living settings. He spends the weekends with his family, his mom, dad, siblings, and his nephews, laughing, connecting, and just being together. He's a loyal brother and a son whose presence brings joy and pride to everyone who knows him. Music is a passion for Colin. His playlist includes everything from Tom Petty and the Beatles to Andy Williams' Christmas classics. He's a fan of Ghostbusters and the Addams Family. He doesn't just watch, he feels the music and stories. He attended a 3-day concert tribute band shows for Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles, and is soon heading to the Wiggles concert. Colin doesn't miss a beat, especially if it means fun with others. He also finds joy in life's little adventures. Summer camps, reconnecting with counselors and friends, bike rides, video games, walkie-talkies, peering through binoculars to take in the world around him, and texting family and friends. And he's always ready, day or night, if it means being around people and having a good time. But perhaps the most beautiful part of Colin's journey is that he's thriving in the community he grew up in. A place where people know him, look out for him, and celebrate him. A place where, if anything happens, big or small, good or bad, people in the community check in with Mom. They know Colin. They care. And that gives his mom something every parent longs for: peace of mind. Colin's story is not just about supported services or programs. It's about possibility, connection, and the deep love of family who never gave up. It's about a mom who cleared a path through confusion and stigma to make sure her son could shine. And now, Colin shines bright, living a life filled with joy, music, friendship, purpose, and love. A life that is fully his. A life that truly reflects what it means to be living his best life. I've known Dee Dee and Larry Garman for over 30 years, and we went to church with them, and we knew their family, and it was such a great honor to be able to be linked back up with Dee Dee and Larry and to do this project together. We took a moment and we sat down and we talked about their daughter Lacey and the challenges that Lacey has had over the years and the amazing community support that she's received. This is just a little taste of Lacey's life. I hope you enjoy it. Meet Lacey, born in 1984. She's touched lives, built connections, and embraced inclusion without ever speaking a word. Through sounds, expressions, and movement, Lacey has shown the power of presence, determination, and human connection. Her journey to inclusion was made possible by those who believed in thinking beyond limitations. opening doors and creating opportunities for her just like anyone else. Lacey's story reminds us that inclusion isn't about words, it's about action, connection, and belonging. Lacey's journey in education started early, attending a co-op program at just 18 months old. By age 12, she was fully included in her community school, thriving in a regular classroom where she built friendships and connections that made learning fun and meaningful. Her classmates loved having her there, helping her to and from the bus, playing together, and sharing laughter in class. But as she entered senior high, Lacey was placed in a separate special education classroom. It wasn't the experience she or her family wanted, but it didn't stop her from staying engaged with her school community. Lacey's story reminds us why inclusion matters. When given the opportunity, students with disabilities enrich the classroom and create stronger, more connected communities.
What do you think makes living your best life so good for Lacey? And I've been thinking about that, and it's like, I think it's the local people, be it professionals or just everyday people, her teachers, people that were locally in her community that seen her. It made the difference, because that's how she started belonging. And it's people with and without disabilities. I think that they always say it takes a village, well, to raise a child. Well, it takes a village and then some for a person with disabilities. Yeah. And the then some is just basically helping that connection happen. And I think that that's what happens when you have community support. And for me as a parent, it also gives me peace of mind, because the more people who knew Lacey in the community, the more they would call and say, oh, I seen Lacey, she was doing this, she was doing that. So I knew that if something wasn't right in the community she was living in, we would hear it. Whereas if she was away at an institution or places that don't get them out, nobody would know. And there's more of that quietness that you don't say anything because you could lose your job or whatever. Whereas you don't have to worry about this. So I think it's the people that have made Lacey's life better. And the more her circle expanded, the more I think she was happier.
At the age of 18, when Lacey was approaching adulthood, her transition beyond school became a key focus. Her own income determined her benefits from Social Security and the Developmental Disabilities Administration, and her family began planning for her future. Through Community First Choice Services, Lacey received support for daily living activities, helping her with moving smoothly from school to community life. These supports replaced the paraeducator role she had in school, ensuring she stayed connected and involved in her community. Lacey also began her journey to living as independently as possible from her parents, just like others her age, by using her Community First Choice hours to bring in support beyond just family. This approach created a roommate-style living environment where Lacey follows her own daily routine while others in the household did the same, each managing their own activities independently. Lacey's support hours don't cover her 24/7 needs, so her family provides backup and evening support, ensuring consistency in her care. This setup has worked well, allowing for on-the-job training tailored to Lacey's needs while strengthening her support network. More importantly, it ensures that if her family faces illness, disability, or is no longer here, Lacey has people who know her and can continue meeting her needs seamlessly.
Self-disclosure here, I was the person that made fun of people with disabilities. I did not have any patience for them. I did not like them around me being at work. My thought was, you hired them, you take care of them. And I'm sad to say that's the kind of person I was. And meeting Lacey changed all that in my life. I don't know where the patience came from, or the empathy and the love and compassion that grew out of me for her. She did that. She found that in me and brought that out in me and made me a much better person through not being able to say one word to me. And I went on to be on the Washington State Disabilities Councils for 6 years because of my involvement with Lacey. And my life would be very empty without meeting Lacey and having her in my life. That's a true fact. I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like.
Like her peers preparing to exit the school system, Lacey's team, DVR, supported employment agency, the school, and her family worked together to find meaningful work upon leaving school. She explored different tasks and discovered her perfect fit was self-employment, built around her interests and abilities. Lacey loved being out in the community, surrounded by peers, in lively places filled with happy people. Her business allowed her to do just that. At fairs and festivals, she brought joy to everyone, offering Italian ice samples and directing customers to her booth, where her peers ran the stand. Her business was a huge success, creating opportunities for both her and others. Though health challenges led to its closure, the experience gave her independence, confidence, and lasting connections, proving that with the right support, creativity, and determination, every individual can find their place in the workplace. Lacey's life has been shaped by inclusion, opportunity, and the belief that she deserves the same experiences as her siblings and peers. This was possible because of the incredible mentors, friends, and supporters who helped reimagine what's possible for people with disabilities.
And then I was at the Elks one time doing something for my work, and I was looking at one of their rooms, and one of the members went into the room, and there was another member in there, and she goes, "Oh, I want to introduce you to Lacey's mom." And I was like, it was another thrilling moment for me, because you know, all the people who do sports, they're always wearing those shirts that say Lacey's mom, or you know, and so it's like, I am now known because of Lacey, not Lacey is known because of me. And that was a pivotal moment. So that's why I have this shirt made up that says Lacey, and then on the back it has her picture, so everybody knows who she is. So I just, and that's what to me is meaning that Lacey's living her best life.
By challenging the norm and embracing new possibilities, Lacey's life has been filled with choice, independence, and joy. To everyone who has been part of this journey, thank you. Your belief in inclusion has made all the difference. For this documentary series, we had different people come into our studio and record, so we got to know them a little bit and ask them questions and heard their story personally from them. Hannah is our next one, and Hannah is an amazing lady. I just can't say enough about her. She totally impressed me with the ability to overcome some pretty rough challenges. And because of the people in this community and the different programs that she's been involved in and her sheer determination to get this right, and her parents, I'm telling you what, this lady is awesome and she's going places. I hope you enjoy this documentary on Hannah. Hannah, living her best life, a story of inclusion, strength, and community. Hannah's story, for a short time, began in Denver, but Washington quickly became her home. She started early intervention services before she was even 1 year old. From the very beginning, Hannah's parents set the tone, raising her to be strong, independent, and fully included in every part of life. Growing up in the same school district, something her parents made sure she was able to do, gave Hannah something many kids don't realize they need: stability and connection. Being with the same group of classmates year after year meant she was more than just a student. She was a friend, a teammate, and part of something bigger. Hannah was always included in the general classroom, receiving just a little extra support when she needed it. When one moment of bullying occurred at school, her classmates didn't hesitate to step in and stand up for her culture of inclusion. Whether she was earning A's and B's, standing up for herself in class for a higher grade in PE, Hannah was seen, valued, and respected. Her senior year, she was honored with the student-voted award, Most Unforgettable. It was more than just a title. It's a reflection of the impression Hannah left on those around her. Outside of school, Hannah's calendar was full. She was a Hoquiam youth cheerleader, performed in the Grace Harbor Pageant's Raindrop Princess program, and proudly wore her Girl Scout sash. Special Olympics gave her another chance to shine. Swimming, bowling, and even playing baseball. These activities weren't just about skills, they were about building friendships, confidence, and belonging. After graduation, Hannah joined her school district's transition program. She gained hands-on experience working as a teacher's assistant at the Emerson Elementary School, learning how to answer kids' curious questions with grace, confidence, and pride. She helped others understand her disability, not as something that held her back, but as something that made her unique. In 2019, she had a paid summer internship through the Youth Works ARC program as a camp counselor at the YMCA. In 2024, Hannah had an opportunity to share her gaming story in a powerful way through an interview in Seattle as a part of a project highlighting gamers with disabilities. During the interview, Hannah was excited to show how she plays and talk about her lifelong love of gaming. She shared that gaming has always been a part of her life. Growing up in a family of gamers, she was adapting from a young age, running around the little towns in video games while her dad helped set up to play Mario Kart on her own, even without any modifications. During the interview, Hannah got to try out her new adaptive technologies and explore how accessibility tools can support different ways of playing, and how these innovations can help gamers with physical differences play more comfortably and make gaming more inclusive for everyone. It was a moment of pride, not just as a gamer, but someone using her voice to advocate for inclusion and accessibility in a space she loves. In 2025, she volunteered as a unified coach for the Special Olympics School program and served on the Grace Harbor County Transition Council. Each role prepared her for something bigger. With the support of a local supported employment agency, she secured an internship with Grace Harbor Public Health and was hired in February 2025 as a program assistant. Today, she commutes to work by bus, but is actively saving up to buy her first car for more independence and flexibility. Hannah's goals don't stop at work. Her personal life is full too. Hannah has 2 or 3 close friends she regularly meets with on the weekends for lunch, coffee, or just a time to talk. One of her closest friends trusts her to care for her young daughter, showing how deep and genuine these connections are. She dreams of moving out one day, eventually living with roommates, no more than 2, and to keep growing her independence. She wants to volunteer, stay involved in the disability community, and build her skills in advocacy, something she's already started by speaking at the 2025 Employment for All Advocacy Day. But if you ask Hannah, who helped her become the person she is today, she'll tell you it started at home with her parents, who she says gave her the best foundation anyone could ask for. Her dad taught her patience. Her mom taught her independence. They always expected her to be treated like every other kid. No excuses, no limits, no disability card. Just Hannah, living her life on her terms.
My parents always told me, saying if I could reach to the stars and if you hit the rooftops, that's okay. But I get that people have some challenges. Everyone has their challenges. Everyone has their problems. But it's okay to go out of your comfort zone. And you never know what doors will open or how many people will support you throughout your journey.
Along the way, her family and friends continue to challenge her to push towards being the very best version of herself. This mindset helped shape Hannah's life. It taught her to be strong, kind, and resilient. And it helped her grow into the remarkable young woman she is today. Hannah isn't waiting for her best life to begin. She's living it right now. Surrounded by people who believe in her, shaped by a community that lifts her up, and driven by dreams that continue to unfold. Hannah's story is a powerful reminder. Inclusion, respect, and support make all the difference. And for Hannah, they've made a life that's nothing short of unforgettable.
A person might tell me saying, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that. But ever since I was little, I proved them wrong, and the doctors told my parents that I wouldn't walk or talk, and I can, you see me talking, and I can walk, and I can do sign language. Never stop believing in yourself.
So I was curious, how would we go about doing a documentary on somebody that was nonverbal? Because, you know, in these other ones, you've seen us do interviews with them and, you know, follow them around. And I met Margaret. We did a special interview with her at first. So you'll see a little bit of this footage, but we didn't use it all. Because Margaret is very enthusiastic. And she was so excited to meet me and my wife. And she got really loud, and we were like, oh no, how are we going to use this footage? Because we don't know. So I put some in here, you'll see it. But then the next day we interviewed her parents, and Charlene and Steve. They were great. And then we thought, you know what? I think what we're going to do, we're going to go over to Margaret's house, because she has her own home. So we went over to her home for the afternoon the other day, and we got to meet her, got to see her collections and meet the people that take care of her during the day. And it was a delightful afternoon. We had a blast, and you're going to see a bunch of that. You'll see her collections and a bunch of other things there. But I just have to say, for being nonverbal, she's very outspoken. Let's just put it that way. Margaret was born in 1978. Right at the time when early support services were gaining ground, and she's been paving her own path ever since. From birth to 3 programs, to being part of the wave of students moving from segregated schools to inclusive community schools, Margaret has been a part of the progress. Her parents were strong advocates, working closely with schools to make sure Margaret had the life skills and opportunities she needed to succeed. Margaret's social nature showed early. Her mom still remembers crying the first time she put Margaret on the school bus as a toddler. But that moment marked the start of something beautiful. Margaret's passion for being out in the world, meeting new people, and spreading joy wherever she goes. As her family says, there's no such thing as a stranger in Margaret's world, just friends she hasn't met yet. Her living arrangements. She used to live with you. Mm-hmm. When did that change?
2006.
Okay, and what, can you tell me the circumstances?
We finally convinced the Hulla that would they please come and staff Margaret's house. So what we did was we teased her that she kicked us out of our house, because when they came in to staff that place, we had to leave. So we had no place to go. We were homeless for a couple of months. But anyways, and then, so she stayed in the family home, but it was the family home, so she kept expecting us to come home so she wouldn't go anywhere. So a few years later, like 9 years ago, we found a house 2 blocks from us on Bel Air. And so she's close to us, but it's her house. And that's made a world of difference for her as far as her independence.
Using her own words, picture cards, and signs, Margaret has always found a way to be heard. After high school, her family helped her transition to adult life with intention and love. They gave her the gift of independence by allowing her to stay in the family home while they moved out. Later, they purchased a home nearby them so that Margaret could rent her very own grown-up house. Here, she helps with cooking, laundry, and chores, gaining skills and confidence every day. Margaret's home is staffed 24/7 by dedicated residential provider teams who respect her voice and independence. She's clear about what she likes and doesn't like. She prefers quiet nights at home and daytime outings, enjoys being around friendly faces, and loves having her space. Her support team doesn't speak down to her or talk around her. They talk with her, including her in conversations, decision-making, and daily routines. They know she's an adult and support her growing independence, while also knowing not to baby talk her or talk down to her, because Margaret will call that out fast. Margaret thrives on routine, connection, and good company. She enjoys going to lunch, shopping for new hoodies, a weekly tradition, and singing karaoke at the Hoquiam Senior Center.
Well, Ashley Johnson is her community inclusion person, and they go to Hoquiam Senior Center on Wednesdays has karaoke. So some of those people know me from the pool because I taught at the pool, and so they formed a semicircle around her. And when she was up there singing, which she can't, so everybody else is doing the singing, they're all clapping for her and she's dancing, and so it's just amazing.
Margaret has a strong bond with her parents, spending time with them shopping, going out to lunch, attending family celebrations, and visiting her favorite local shops. One of her favorite traditions? Picking out a new custom hoodie every week and being treated like royalty while she's doing it. And a stop for a Cinnabon sweet treat always follows. She's well known at local restaurants where staff greet her by name and compliment her latest hoodie or baseball cap. She's a fan of M&M characters, Batman, Willie Nelson, and Kenny Chesney. One of her favorite places to visit is her Aunt Judy's furniture store, where the young men greet her warmly, walk her to the car, and when she's ready to leave, receiving a temporary tattoo stamp from Margaret in return. At home, she loves flipping through her yearly photo albums. She receives those each Christmas from her parents that are filled with highlights of the fun and meaningful experiences she's had. Her home is decorated with movable photo tiles featuring snapshots of her adventures, a daily reminder of the life that she's built. Her sense of humor is sharp. She laughs over broken chairs, stamps, and her own jokes, especially her favorite banana joke. Even without her own mode of transportation, she still claims her great-grandfather's Model A, stored safely in her garage, as her car.
Yeah, she wakes up with a smile on her face, headed for the bathtub. Yeah. And you know, that's her default, is just to be upbeat and happy, and it's only when you start to tell her you can't do things that might change.
That might change.
Mm-hmm.
Always when we have our
Just like the rest
assessments,
of us.
you know, what does Margaret not like? Being told no. So we work around that. We don't say, no, we can't do that. We'll say, well, we're going to go do this, so that we don't have to use the word no.
Margaret is also a businesswoman.
She has a business called Stickum Originals, and that she makes custom T-shirts and hoodies and jackets and whatever kind of clothing you want to have.
Vinyl products.
Yeah, vinyl, heat pressed vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, and also vinyl that you can put on your walls or on your car window and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Or
she
car
does.
wraps.
No, she doesn't do car wraps.
She does door signs.
She does door signs, yes. So she's got like McHugh's Furniture buys their signs on their windows from her. Artistic Creations bought their window signs. I'm trying to think who else. Wendy from Huckleberries buys hoodies and T-shirts from her.
That's great. And her business is just one more example of how capable and driven Margaret truly is. Margaret's parents remain an essential part of her life, but they've begun the gentle process of stepping back, preparing her for the future where they aren't always there every day. And Margaret is proving more and more that she's ready. With her brother and sister-in-law as future support and a tight-knit community that always embraces her, Margaret's future is full of possibilities. Margaret is living proof that with the right support, strong relationships, and room to grow, people can live not just good lives, but their best lives. When Dee Dee came over to help me do the interviews with the different individuals, she had in tow with her a girl named Michaela. This lady, she was kind of quiet, but she was sitting there she was working with yarn and doing a bunch of different, very resourceful, and she kind of watched all these different interviews, and then it was her turn. And she got up and she was delightful. She was really fun. She's quirky, but at the same time, compassionate, and she kind of loves some of the same things that I do. Like, she loves animals, she loves people, and it was just really fun to get to know her. I think you're going to really enjoy her story. She's a pretty unique and cool individual. Enjoy Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela Nestor, and I'm 26 years old.
Michaela was born in 1999 into a family full of love, laughter, and strong values. From day one, she's been surrounded by a community that believes in her. Church friends, Girl Scouts, classmates, and neighbors who have walked alongside her every step of the way. Whether it was camping trips, school events, or birthday celebrations, Michaela's world has always been rich in connection and belonging. She's someone who lights up the room. With her caring heart, great sense of humor, and love for meaningful conversation, Michaela brings comfort and joy to everyone around her. She speaks her truth with confidence, and her honesty makes people feel at ease. You always know where you stand with Michaela, and that's a gift. Michaela proudly graduated from high school in 2020, right in the middle of COVID-19. The years that followed brought challenges with her health, but in 2024, things began to shift.
Finding the right doctors that would listen.
There we go, okay.
That wouldn't just brush it off as, oh, you don't really know how to explain what you're feeling because you're autistic or whatever. And then switching to a doctor that's like, okay, that doesn't matter. Here's the right terminology you need to say. And when you're feeling like this, like when your stomach hurts, does it feel like this or does it feel like this? Don't just say, oh, it hurts or it burns. Like, what does that mean? So I switched doctors and they really listen.
As her health stabilized, Michaela began to embrace adult life with curiosity, courage, confidence, and a sense of purpose. That journey began with a powerful decision. Michaela chose to explore employment. She kicked off her journey with a person-centered planning celebration, a day with friends and family, talking everything that makes her uniquely Michaela. Her friends and family affectionately call her the Cat Whisperer, after she formed a special bond with a stray cat who instantly became part of the family. At home, she's truly a helper, tending to the chickens, gathering eggs, her bunnies, and getting her younger brother on and off the school bus. She has a remarkable memory, an artistic eye, and a love for collecting and crafting with feathers, rocks, and agates. Her hands are often busy with crocheting, photography, or making Italian sodas and coffee drinks for those she loves the most. Her employment journey has been a time of real growth. She earned her food handler's card, completed job shadows of a veterinary clinic, and a coffee stand, 2 roles that match her personality and her interests beautifully.
Job shadow at the vet office, and I thought I was going to love it because I love taking care of my chickens, I love taking care of my ducks, the rabbits, my cats, kind of my dogs. It's mostly my dad's dog, my mom's dog, and my dad's dog is annoying. But I didn't really like it as much as I thought I would. And then I went and did a barista job shadow a few days ago, and I actually really liked that. I didn't know if I really would, but seeing as I really like making like coffee and like little lotuses and stuff at home, like trying to learn like how they do that, and I've been doing that for a while, I think I really like doing that.
With every step, she's gaining the skills, confidence, and clarity that will help her shape a career she's excited about. But Michaela's life isn't just about work. It's also about friendship, faith, and fun. She joins her friend Lacey at Speed Bingo, where there's no shortage of laughter and joy. She attends a women's group at her community church and participates in a small peer group that gives her space to grow in her values and relationships with her best friend Amy.
Growing up, I didn't really know how to advocate for myself and just kind of left it all to my mom. She didn't really know either. I remember one time in a school meeting in elementary school, I was probably in 2nd grade, I was literally hiding under the table crying because my mom was arguing with the school that I was at the time, like, no, she needs these things, and I was so overwhelmed, like little 7, 8-year-old me didn't know. And then after I got my diagnosis, of autism when I was almost 17. I was like, oh, maybe I probably should start advocating for myself a little bit, because I kind of know a little more after doing research. Like, and my best friend since we were 3, we went to developmental preschool together, and she's legally blind, so she's always been kind of an advocate for herself, and she was like, girl, you need to start doing this, because if you don't, nobody's gonna take you seriously.
Michaela is also becoming a strong advocate, not just for herself, but also for her younger brother. She now speaks up at medical appointments, navigates conversations with confidence, and even joined a legislative advocacy group where her voice will help shape a more inclusive future for everyone.
Like, hey, I can do all these other things, I might as well. So I got my permit on my 26th birthday 2 months ago, and I've been driving a few times. Not with certain people, because that was way too stressful. So I've been going with my brother-in-law or my grandma or my aunt, and it's been going a lot better. I'm getting a lot more comfortable driving, and really excited to get my license, because then I can actually go to do stuff like thrifting, or actually pick up my best friend for once, instead of her having to come pick me up. Her hounding me, when are you gonna get your license?
Michaela is not just living her best life, she's building it, one meaningful moment at a time. On her terms, and life truly her own. Not based on limits, it's based on love, choice, purpose, and possibility. For years, my wife and I have shopped at Walmart, and we've run into the guy that we're going to do the last documentary on. And Craig, I cannot tell you how cool Craig is. I had no idea that his mom was a stand-up comedian, because this lady, she should have her own show, because that's how funny she is. But her and Craig got interviewed for Craig's documentary, and he's a delight. He's a great guy. A lot of people know him. You probably know him from sports and Walmart. That's probably where you know him from. But I think you'll really enjoy that. It shows me how incredible our community is, and how we all work together to help people's lives be the best they can be. So enjoy Craig. Born in 1984, Craig has built a life rooted in joy, connection, and true hometown pride. He lives with his mom, who's his biggest supporter and biggest fan. Together, they've created a life filled with love, laughter, and meaningful involvement in their community.
I'm Craig.
And how old are you, Craig?
I'm 40.
Craig has always been a sports fan, from Special Olympics to Aberdeen School Sports to his loyalty to the Seahawks. Craig is a man of many interests and talents. He's been working since 2006 and is always eager to lend a hand. Whether it's helping with a task or showing up to support a team, Craig gives his all with a smile and a positive attitude that never fades.
I work at Walmart and I work for Aberdeen High School.
Okay, so what do you do at Walmart?
I'm sorry, I clean the patio and I water the flowers, and I clean and straighten the shelves up.
Okay, so are you responsible for keeping all those flowers alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
During the summer, and we all water them together.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's really, really cool.
And you put the returns back.
I put returns back every day I go in, I put returns away.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So how long have you worked at Walmart?
This year in July will be 19 years.
Well, I got a call, gosh, I'm not sure how many years ago, but Irene Brown was the manager at Walmart, that Craig was going to be suspended from his job. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did he do? And she goes, well, he went to lunch late 2 days in a row. I said, he didn't take a longer lunch or anything? No, he just went to lunch late. And I said, okay. So I came to the office to pick him up, and she told me that you're going to have to return in 2 days and face a jury of his peers and a written response to the allegations. And I thought, well, you know, he doesn't read or write. So, and she goes, oh, well, he can verbalize it to the jury. And I thought, okay. And we came back 2 days later, and for some reason there must have been something that happened, but the job coach couldn't be there, and they wouldn't allow me to go into the jury, you know, to face the jury with Craig, so I had to stay out in the hallway. And when, you know, I was pacing back and forth, just sick to my stomach, and all of a sudden the doors open and all these people come out, and, you know, they're crying and they're hugging Craig, and they said, everything is going to be fine. And I said, well, Craig, what happened? And he goes, well, they asked me, did you go to lunch late on this day? And he said, yes. And did you go to lunch late this next day? And he said, yes. And they said, but he goes, but I went home and I asked Jesus for forgiveness. He told them. So you know, they felt so bad, I think, you know, that they said that what they were going to do was just cut his hours down to 4 hours so he never has to take his lunch late again, you know, to keep his job.
He's also known for his incredible team spirit. Craig is the Aberdeen Bobcats' honorary football coach, chosen unanimously to receive the first ever Bob Delante Award, a recognition that reflects how deeply respected and admired he is.
What did you mean?
We went off of the Tupu.
Yeah, Lofa Tutupu from the Seahawks was there, and he had his jersey signed.
I just signed Zach's jersey signed. Zach got a jersey, and I get him signed for him. And then we met a lot of celebrities, a lot of celebrity players there.
And nice. I mean, he had a lot of good experiences when he was playing with Special Olympics. They even got to go to training camp up at the center, and you met Hasselbeck
and Mike Holmgren, our old coach.
And they got to be on the field, and yeah,
really cool.
And Craig wore his old jersey. I was working and I came home and I said, did you get your jersey signed? And he goes, yes. And he showed me, and it was the old jersey with the numbers that weren't sewn on. And so he goes, I said, why didn't you take your, you know, field jersey that, you know, is like $300 jersey and have him sign that? And he goes, well, I didn't want him to ruin it.
That's good. That's good. He's also the manager for Aberdeen baseball and never misses a home game, not even the Babe Ruth League ones. Rain or shine, Craig is there, cheering on his teams and offering support however he can. Are there particular organizations or things that have really helped with that?
Oh, absolutely. It's an answer to prayer. I think as a mother, that's kind of like your worst fear of what kind of life is he going to have? You know, who's going to come to his birthday parties? Is he going to have any friends? You know, are people going to make fun of him? You know, what is this going to look like for him? It's been such a blessing, this community, like I said, his answer to prayer. I mean, he is surrounded by love, and the children in this community, from the little ones all the way up to high school to who have graduated, have let him be such a part of this community and be on the field to help coach at football games and basketball games and be totally integrated in baseball. He's busy year-round. He has a better social life than anybody else in my family. You know, he's surrounded by job support for the community at CAP that will, you know, iron out any issues he may have at work. To be there as his support so he can continue to be successful working, which is so important to him, to feel valued and to make his own money. You know, he has people at church that look out for him.
One of Craig's proudest roles is serving as the official church door greeter. Proudly dressed in his greeter gear, his warm welcome is a highlight for many who attend services. His presence sets the tone for kindness, acceptance, and community. People often say that being with Craig is like walking with a rock star. Cars honk, people wave, and conversations naturally flow around him. His ability to connect is truly something special. Craig shares a loving home with his mom, who beams with pride when talking about him. She says, I couldn't ask for a better life for Craig. He's never stressed, he's surrounded by friends, and he's so involved in his community. It's everything a mother could hope for.
You know, after the games, they'll take him out. William Raybung has been amazing that will, you know, take him to dinner after the games a couple times a month, and they say, you know, they're 2 fat men on the town. You know, they've, at his 21st birthday party, when we had him, you know, getting his first drink at the bar, we must have had 50 people from the community that saw Craig and us there. And since we don't look anything alike, they were so worried that, what are you doing in here, buddy? Let's get you a soda and get you home. I mean, person after person, and I just had to say thank you so much.
As if his schedule wasn't full enough, Craig shares his happiness with someone special, a longtime girlfriend, who brings even more joy to his already full and vibrant life.
This year he won the Bob Delahunty Spirit Award. It was the first year that it's been awarded to anybody, and so at the end of the football season at the awards, you know, Craig got that.
Well,
you know,
we didn't know till you got text.
we didn't know.
Take that
They
text.
said, you know, get here quick. You know, Craig is getting an award, and you know, it was what an honor. What an honor.
We were at Tom's house.
Yeah, I was up at my brother's house.
No, you weren't. We were.
We were.
You were home.
Oh, I had to get you. It was a secret. I had to get you there without you knowing that you were getting this award. But I mean, there's almost too many things to even mention because it's been ongoing from the time he's been about 18 months until now. The support from this whole community. I mean, it takes a village, and boy, do we have a great village. I wouldn't move him out of this community for anything.
No, you wouldn't.
You know, our plan is to keep Craig at home, and my son is our respite care worker that takes care of Craig when I'm at work. You got to keep an eye on this one because 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 100 minutes all look the same on the microwave to Craig, and we've got it on fire a few times.
We did. Well, I won one.
He doesn't stop pushing the zeros till no more goes in.
We got a new one now, so I like it a lot
But we
better.
have a new one, and hopefully it won't be amber colored, you know, so we just got to keep you, you know, keep a watch on you. But, you know, Zach is planning on, if something happens to me, just to keep Craig in this same area where he's used to. And I asked Zach, I said, well, what happens if you get a girlfriend that, you know, doesn't want your brother around? He goes, well, then she won't be my girlfriend. You know, they're going to be a match set no matter what. So, yep, your best buddies. So.
Yep.
Craig's best life isn't measured by compliments or attention. It's measured by the joy he brings, the connections he makes, and the love he shares with everyone around him. His life reminds us that when we lead with kindness and stay true to ourselves, we all have the power to live our best lives.
So I guess you're rather thankful for this community.
Oh, there's no words.
Yeah.
There's no words for this community.
No words.
Just what a blessing. I mean, what a blessing Craig is, what a blessing this community is. It just, it makes me cry.
Yeah.
It's really,
It's been just wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better life.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us tonight to watch these documentaries. It's been a pleasure to film. Real big thanks to the health department for financing this and helping us bring Dee Dee's dream to get people out in the community so we can see what their lives are like, tell the stories. This isn't the last that you'll see of these. We're going to do some more stories as time goes on, and I think you'll enjoy those as well. But I just want to say a big thanks to everybody that had a part in making these. And I hope you leave with a little bit of hope in your heart that we have an amazing community with people that are incredible. Make sure you get their autograph. Go say hi to the stars tonight. Treat them like royalty because they are.